Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. This is the Tattoed Tarot and today we are going to be doing a reading on you've passed a test from the universe and Spirit is congratulating you. So we're going to find out what test you recently passed, what have you recently gone through that Spirit is really proud of you for. So as always we have 3 piles to choose from today. We have pile number 1, Abundance, pile number 2, the Axe, and pile number 3, Ascending. So just take a moment to inhale and exhale and see which pile you are most drawn to. You may be drawn to more than one pile and that is absolutely okay. There may be more than one thing that Spirit wants to praise you for today. So take a second and I shall see you at your reading. Hi there, pile number 1. For those of you who picked the Abundance pile, this is going to be on what test you passed from the universe. So just remember to take what resonates and leave what doesn't. So I'm feeling like what recently you have gone through or are going through currently that the universe is really praising for you for, and you've passed the test, is that you've stepped into some kind of power which is related to your higher self here. I am getting a lot of energy around opening the third eye chakra as well as the crown chakra here, and I feel like whatever it is that you've been trying to manifest is really coming in, but it feels like you are coming into yourself. You're stepping into your higher self. Spirit is acknowledging here that you have learned some lessons, whether tough or easy or however you want to describe them. You have recently learned some lessons. But maybe most importantly, you have learned about yourself and your own power and the high priest or priestess within you. And you are more connected to your spirituality more than ever before. I'm seeing that you must recently have gone through like a third eye activation or a crown chakra activation. But I am really seeing the third eye chakra that is the most open right now. I'm seeing a lot of purple, indigo energy. Even on this card here of the 9 of Wands, there's purple and pinks and like blues going through it. So I am really seeing that the higher chakras have been activated and you've gone through a period of initiation or another spiritual awakening. It might not be your first spiritual awakening, but there's definitely some wisdom that you've gained here. Even with the wisdom card here, do you see how the unicorn, it literally has, is it a horn that is coming out of the third eye, and it has elements of like little bits of purple or violet in there. So I am seeing strongly that there has been some kind of third eye activation, there's been some kind of crown chakra activation, and possibly for some of you, your clairvoyant abilities have really been activated during this time. There's been some kind of test, and instead of being rigid, you've gone through with it. You've gone through with something, and again, dark purples and blues here as well. Blues on this High Priestess of Water card. There's a lot of energy around you that is like blues and purples and pinks. I do really feeling like you're stepping into your High Priestess energy, your higher self. You've unlocked and unloaded something here. So you've gone through some kind of lesson and now you have this infinite supply. It says you are supplied for today and all of your tomorrows. An inner goddess, Aphrodite. Awaken the goddess within you through dance, self-care, and appreciating your divinity. So I feel like perhaps for some of you, this realization or this lesson, this test that you have passed has something to do with self-love for some of you and pouring back into yourself. And it might have been a really tough time with this 9 of Wands. The 9 of Wands is a card that I associate personally with resilience. And you can talk about pushing right through to the end, having some kind of ongoing battle, really taking the time to climb these steps. And that climb can be hard, but ultimately you reach that level of enlightenment at the top. Because after the 9 of Wands comes the 10 of Wands, and the 10 of Wands talks about dropping the burden and completing the cycle. And once you've done that, you start back from the ace. So this can talk about how something may have been going on for a long time, something's been long, drawn out, painful, but you finally gain that wisdom at the top, that moon energy here, that moon. And you see how here as well, even from a different deck, the High Priestess of Water here has the moon over the third eye. So there's some kind of activation where the clairvoyant or spiritual, or even just your spiritual gifts and your third eye unlocking even more, that you can trust what you're seeing. Maybe you've doubted your intuition in the past, and this is Spirit's message of, trust in yourself, and maybe you trust yourself more now. because you have that infinite supply of abundance. And again, you might actually resonate, this is a really random message, you might resonate with the Sirius energy, specifically Sirius B. I am getting a lot of like planetary energy, starseed energy with the dolphins and the whales and the underwater. And again, with the high priestess of water here, being underwater, mermaids, unicorns, fairies, that kind of thing. So you may really resonate with either the Fae or Sirius B, mermaids or underwater creatures. I do feel like if you are a starseed, it's possible that your energy is from Sirius B here, but that again, that might only be for a select few of you. I'm seeing that you are more beautiful than ever, both on the inside and out. I feel like whatever you've cultivated has come from within. It's come from this resilience, and you finally get to let go of that. You finally get to let go of the lesson here. Again, because the Nine of Wands, it can talk about like past failures and gathering your strength. It almost feels like it's been an ongoing battle. Perhaps, you know, you see here in the card, she's kind of resting and sleeping now. You know, it's been quite a tiring battle for her. But finally, you're at the end. You're finally at the final hurdles. And if you're not quite there yet, this is spirit pushing you. Like, this is the last few steps, and then you'll get that enlightenment. The moon can talk about being in the dark. It gives Pisces and Cancer energy to it. Perhaps you are a water sign in your sun, moon, or rising, Pisces, Cancer, or Scorpio, or you have a lot of water in your chart, perhaps over here. But there is something about you that is extremely abundant and intuitive, and also very empathic. So perhaps this has been a long journey for you to get to this point. And Spirit wants to acknowledge that you're at the end now. It's time to drop the baggage and time to rest. And again, that moon energy, it can talk about. They're showing me the moon card as well. It can talk about being a little bit confused or daydreaming or not being able to see the forest for the trees. We're in the dark about something, but you're almost at the end now, where you've gained or you're about to gain the wisdom and the knowledge and the learning from that lesson, and you can finally say, you know, this is why it happened. This is why it was meant to be this way, because it got me back in touch with myself, my own abundance, my infinite supply. It almost feels like you've gone within and changed and transformed yourself from within. And then now that's radiating on the outside, and people might be really starting to see it in your looks. You might be recently or drawn to the colours of like these purples and these blues and these greens, these underwater colours. It does really feel like you're stepping more into your higher self here. You're stepping more into your power, and you're being unapologetic about it. The rigid card, I'm kind of reading it as rigid, you know, standing strong in yourself and your knowing and your intuition and your wisdom. And now you are stronger than ever. You can't be shaken. You can't be moved. But also I'm reading it as in the past, you may have been quite rigid to make this move. You may have been quite rigid to take these steps. You might have felt like you weren't quite ready for it. The Daughter of Swords here, also known as the Page of Swords. You know, you can talk about needing patience, or you can talk about not feeling ready or mature enough, or, you know, maybe just not feeling quite ready for something or not quite ready to speak your truth. But now you are wiser now. Do you see the owl on the card? You're gaining that wisdom through that now. It's almost like you're tapping into all of these little ideas, or you're trying out all these like little versions of yourself I'm getting here. I know that's not the traditional meaning of the card, but trying out like, who am I in all of this? And you're finally at the end of that hurdle where you're really tapping into your Aphrodite energy here. It's very Venusian, and also very mystic. Some of you may resonate again with being a water sign. But I am just seeing that Spirit is really proud of you for keeping a positive mindset. Perhaps it's been really difficult to keep a positive mindset, and knowing what you want, manifesting exactly what you want. Again, with this abundance card, manifest exactly what you want. You might have been here like, do I want this, or do I want this, or do I want this spark of light, or this green one, or this blue one? Perhaps you've just like really grown up recently, even on a spiritual level. I mean, I know time is linear on Earth and everything, you know, goes by day at the same hour by the same hour. But perhaps recently you've just really stepped into yourself. You've really grown up on a spiritual level, and you're tapping into this infinite supply. You're going within instead of going externally, perhaps to outside for others to validate your decisions or to validate your truth. You now are getting that from within. You've climbed that stairs. You've always had this curiosity to go there, to take this new path solo perhaps. Number 9 here, 9 talks about solitude. It really also relates to the Hermit card, the Virgo energy. So perhaps it's been, quite a lonely journey of finding out who you are, but having that curiosity to go within, to find out who you are, to find out what you want to manifest. It might have even been difficult to have the gratitude and the bliss to get to where you are today, to be the person that you are, to really be thankful for everything that you've been through. Perhaps that has been difficult, because perhaps you can, maybe there's been times where you've thought about, well, why is this worth it? How is this worth it? But you're finally going to be able to start to see why you had to go through what you had to go through, why you had to meet certain people, why you had to have certain lessons, because you're finally stepping into that higher self, that supply, where now you can have anything that you want for today and tomorrow. You can have that abundance. I am seeing for some of you that it's like all these blocks of, things that you couldn't have previously. It's like all those blocks are coming down in now. Like where you were rigid before, it's going to start coming down, and things are going to start coming back to you, with that creation energy, that number 3. 3 also is the Empress energy, and the Empress in the Tarot card is all about creation. It's the mother, the fertility. You can finally start birthing things into your reality now that aligns with your truest, highest calling and your truest, highest self. Perhaps the things that you were attracting before, maybe they were abundant, but they just weren't right for you. But now you're attracting the right kind of abundance to you. You're attracting the right kind of people for you. You're attracting the right kind of opportunities for you, and jobs, and the people and friendships around you, because you're tapped into your highest potential path now. I mean, there's always room to grow. That's not to say that there won't be more of this in the future, right? But right now you're on the highest aligned, most authentic path that you can be. And Spirit's like, it's time to rest for a little while now. It's time to enjoy the fruits of your labor. It's time to enjoy this supply and relax. And, perhaps you're someone who's really had to fight, rigidly to get to where you are today. And maybe there is a little bit of a fear mentality or a lack mentality, that what if it all just disappears tomorrow? What if it's not going to be here anymore? But Spirit's like, enjoy that abundance with gratitude, with bliss, because, you've worked for it. I feel like you might have had to fight harder than most in life to get where you are. And it's been, a real struggle. You've had to learn from your past mistakes. You've had to gather your strength. It's been really tiring. And Spirit's like, you're nearly there. If you're not quite there yet, you very nearly are. Because you might be feeling drained right now, and you really want this infinite supply, but then you realize that you are the infinite supply, and it comes from within. It comes from the gratitude, and it comes from the mentality. And I feel like maybe some perspective change has shifted recently, or you've had some dreams. It's very possible that you are my clairvoyant pile with the dreams, and possibly astral traveling. Perhaps you've just unlocked some new level of third eye ability or crown chakra ability, where you're really channeling that inner goddess now. You're calling in love for yourself. You're pouring it from within. You're pouring into yourself, and that's pouring out of you. So this is your final message of what Spirit wanted to say to you today. And these are messages. These are from my messages from heaven. This is what Spirit wanted to say to you. So this could be a spirit guide, or it could be a crossed over loved one. We have, I always give you a good night kiss. And we have, we will be together again. So there is a spirit or a spirit guide on the other side who's saying that you will be together again, and they're always around you again, especially at night. And again, I'm getting the image of someone giving you a good night kiss on the third eye chakra, on the forehead. So I feel like there could be a spirit or a spirit guide that's really kissed your forehead recently, or your temple, and that's really unlocked that third eye chakra within your energy field. And perhaps you're having dreams of this person, or visions, or you're seeing things in your mind's eye. You're daydreaming. Daydreams are a form of manifesting, and they also are a form of spiritual work. Sometimes, a lot of the time, I used to see spirit physically when I was a child, but as I've aged now, that I saw a lot of scary things, so that got cut off. But now I see them in my mind's eye. And daydreaming as well, that can be a great way to connect with your guides. And again, we just have the love heart here as well. So much love being poured into the self. And on the cards, I just can't notice, but all the cards that came out for you have this blue/violet tint to them. So there's a very angelic energy around you, and there is someone around you in spirit that is saying that we will be together again. They give you a good night kiss, and I feel like they have helped you recently unlock this ability, tapping into your higher potential, tapping into this higher version of yourself. This Queen of Cups energy here, this High Priestess of Water. It's given the High Priestess card, but it's also given the Queen of Cups, and I notice how both of them say Priestess, so really tapping into your spiritual abundance here as well. Yeah, Spirit is really proud of you for that, and that is the test that you have passed. That all the hardships that you've been through have got you, or are currently getting you, to this infinite supply of abundance from within. And it's coming from within, it's not coming from anyone else, it's not coming externally, and you've gained this new level of wisdom that Spirit is really proud of you for, because you are now embodying this priestess energy, whether you resonate as a male, female, whatever, you are embodying that divine feminine or that divine masculine within you. So that was your reading. It's short and sweet today, pile number 1. I really hope you enjoyed it. Please subscribe down below if you'd like to see more of my readings. Hit the like, drop a comment, and tell me what you'd like to see next time. I hope that you have a great morning, evening, day, wherever you are, and thank you for sharing this sacred space with me today. Thank you. Bye-bye. Hi there, pal 2. Welcome to your reading. If you picked the axe, this is going to be, it's not even focusing, but this is going to be your reading on what test you have recently passed or are just about to pass that Spirit is really proud of you for. So there is a very, it's a very specific thing that is coming through. So if this isn't resonating, then pick another pile. But for a lot of you, I am strongly picking up that you have recently left behind or broken up with or separated from someone who was really toxic, or who had become really toxic, not only to your emotional well-being, but to your spiritual well-being. There's a lot of Mother Mary references here. We have the Mother Mary here, expect a miracle. Have faith that your prayers are heard and have been answered. And then we also have the vows card here. Now the vows card, literally, to me, that would represent, Mother Mary here. So the vows. So perhaps for some of you, really specifically, Spirit is really proud of you and that you've passed the test of literally breaking up with someone, literally divorcing someone, literally separating from someone. Or even if it wasn't a relationship, you've cut off someone from your life that was ultimately draining the life force. It ultimately was a forbidden path for you. It wasn't something that was meant to be, or it wasn't something that was meant to be for the long term. Okay, we have forbidden here. There was something about it that was forbidden or extremely lonely, actually. Perhaps it made you feel really lonely or isolated. Perhaps this person gave you the silent treatment or kept emotionally abandoning you. We have the 8 of Cups here. This talks about emotional abandonment and walking away from things that are no longer emotionally fulfilling. And perhaps this has been really difficult, but you recognise that all of these cups are broken. There is literally nothing left to save. There's nothing left to save. All of these cups are broken. It's pointless putting any more emotional energy into it, because emotional energy represents water in tarot. So it's like, even if you filled these cups with water, aka emotion, it's all going to spill out and break. It's almost like it's all for nothing. No matter how much you pour into this person, okay, it can't be reciprocated, or it can't be appreciated in the way that you need it to be. And it almost feels like you just wasn't emotionally fulfilled with this person. Perhaps this person was only really around you on a lustful level. But again, do we see how she's kind of representing a succubus here, where she's like sucking the life out of him, almost like a vampire. And, this person at first may have enjoyed that, or, may have been down for that. But it's almost like as the connection deepened onto more of a spiritual or emotional level, you just kind of realize that it wasn't for you anymore, that it just wasn't a path that you wanted to go down. Again, we have the forbidden here. 1 + 8 = 9, and 9 in traditional spirituality and tarot represents the hermit. And the hermit also, as number 9, represents isolation. It talks about moving through a lesson. It talks about wisdom. It talks about gaining knowledge through the pursuit of truth. He's kind of carving the way for everyone else. He's there with the lamp, and he's kind of setting up, he's kind of walking through the tunnel alone. You can imagine it like that. He kind of gives a bit of a Dumbledore energy to him, a sage energy to him. And it's almost like perhaps you were allowed through that door, pile number 2, but this person wasn't. You wanted to walk through that door, and you wanted to walk through it so bad. You were ready for this next chapter of your life, whether that be emotional fulfillment, personal fulfillment, spiritual fulfillment, romantic fulfillment. You were ready for this new chapter of your life. And this is kind of where Spirit would say, that traditional saying that not everyone can follow you through every single door. because that door's protected, okay? It's protected by these two gargoyles here, and not everyone can follow you through that door. It's almost like you have to go it alone. You have to abandon things that no longer emotionally serve you, and have trust and faith in the universe, and have trust and faith in your spirit team, that even if you cannot see the way, to expect a miracle, because you have a heavily strong protection around you, especially when it regards to like the mother figure or a grandmother figure or some kind of ancestral line. Have you noticed how all the women in the spiritual cards are cloaked? Even in the Mother Mary, she is cloaked. Even in here, she has the headdress around her, the Bast card. And then in the vows, again, both of them, even the lady in the background, is cloaked. It almost feels like you are heavily protected by spirit, especially when it comes to your higher chakras. And it also may be veiled from you. Perhaps you are very spiritual and intuitive, and you can't quite see what's next. You can't quite see what's behind that forbidden door just yet. But spirit is saying what's behind it is an absolute miracle. And to have trust and faith in your angels and in your guides, that even if you cannot see the way, even if spirit has cloaked your crown chakra or your third eye chakra temporarily, whilst you're going through this lesson, it is for your highest good. And, you know, the lesson here was walking away from things that no longer serve you, whether that is a job, whether that is a person, whether that is a friend, whether that's a family member. Now, for a lot of you, this could be a relationship, literally vows. Literally, you could be divorcing someone or separating from someone. And perhaps it's been, you know, a long time coming. Perhaps it's been hard to walk away. Perhaps for some of you as well, this could be a father figure with the Emperor down here. The Emperor is Aries energy. So you could be in Aries in your sun, moon or rising, or this person could be in Aries in their sun, moon or rising. But it also could be a father figure. The Emperor does represent the father figure. And the Emperor also does represent personal power, stability. So this could be someone who offered you a lot of stability, and perhaps that's why it was hard to walk away from them, or the opposite. It could be that they literally offered you certain stability in some areas, but no emotional stability, or perhaps it was just lust. They might have been quite a stable or successful person, or someone who you enjoyed your time with. Overall, but perhaps it just became toxic after a while. It became quite fiery, and perhaps they became quite, you know, silently, passively aggressive. Perhaps they've like emotionally abandoned you, or literally abandoned you, or they kept abandoning you throughout your life, and you're saying no more. I choose myself, I choose me. With this Bast card right here. Your independence is a foundation for your strength and success. Perhaps you built your independence and your success based upon this person, based upon this root, right? If it's literally talking about a father figure, it talks about your foundation, your childhood, your roots, as so to speak. So perhaps you built your image, your ideas, your independence, your path based upon this person when you were quite impressionable, when you were quite young. But it's almost like you've outgrown this person or this way of being, and spirit is really encouraging you to become more independent within yourself. Be your own emperor, be your own foundation, your own stability, so that you never have to rely on anyone again. And that doesn't mean that we can't ever rely on anyone again. But it's that your own strength comes from within instead of externally, instead of from other people. You have the strength within to cultivate what it is that you want. And spirit is saying that you do not deserve this treatment. There is a reason why this door has been locked and closed. Perhaps this person, you know, you've had to block them, or you've had to walk away from them, and it has been quite painful, or they've kind of been like cast out of your life, and you're kind of questioning like why that is happening, and it's because there is a lot of spiritual protection around you. And if this hasn't happened yet, spirit is saying that there is a reason why you're feeling stuck. There is a reason why you're stuck and you feel like you cannot progress forward past this door. And it's because perhaps there is still some emotional baggage that you are or have been carrying that is not allowed with you on the next part of your journey. And this is really, the lesson here really is about trust and faith. It really is about trusting the universe, trusting yourself, trusting that if you're being called to that door, or you're being called to that new opportunity, you're being called to do something, that it is for a reason, and it is to empower you, pile number 2. And they're saying that once you get past that door, you know, expect a miracle. if you're only just in this energy right now, again, have faith that your prayers are heard and being answered. You see how this baby here is being serenaded. See all this spiritual protection around this baby. It's almost like you get to start something new. You get to create something new, something perhaps that you've never done before, but Spirit is here heavily protecting you, heavily around you, heavily watching you. I mean, look how many souls are on this card. I know it's not focusing very well, but just, take a look at how many souls are here around you, especially during this period of enlightenment. Do you see the ring of stars around her head there? It's almost like, I feel like you are very intuitive and very spiritual, but Spirit is kind of blocking some kind of information or blocking some kind of doorway until you complete this lesson. For some of you, you might not have quite have completed it yet, but you know that you need to do it. And there is an element here of stop the pattern. You see with the axe literally is cutting something or someone off. So it could be that you are the generational curse breaker in your family. Perhaps you've really had to cut a father figure off, or you've had to heal father wounds. Perhaps you've really had to cut something off within your lineage or within yourself or within your workplace, or you've really had to cut a group of people off or a group of friends off. Or you're about to embark on this. For some of you, you have just done this, and for some of you, you're like teetering on the edge, and it's been quite a bit of a scary process for you. So the messages that I have from Spirit, these are my messages from Heaven Oracle. Now, this could be a crossed over loved one, or it could be a spirit guide, but this is what they wanted to say to you on passing this lesson, or you're about to pass this lesson. It says, I am learning over here. And then we have, it is beautiful where I am. Now, specifically, actually, what I'm getting is that this is your higher self talking to you right now, or this future version of you past that door. Your future self is saying, it is beautiful where I am, and I am learning over here. So I am seeing that wherever it is past this door, it is a miracle. And I feel like some of you are doubting it, or there's some resistance here in wanting to let go. The Emperor, if this is talking about you as well, the energy of this is kind of stubborn. He can kind of dig his heels in a little bit, the Emperor, he wants to have the last word, he wants to have the last say, and he wants control. He's someone who is very much in control. So whether it is that you've cut someone off who is quite controlling over you, or a very stifling environment, or if that is you kind of resisting this walking away and letting go, Spirit's like, we admire your persistence here, but, your higher self is coming in here to say it's beautiful where they are. They have reached this level of mastery and learning. They've reached this beautiful place. Perhaps for some of you, you do want to move to the countryside in the future, and Spirit is showing me that as well. Your higher self is showing me that. Being around nature, or having like an amazing holiday or vacation of your dreams, and they're saying that is coming in as one of the manifestations once you pass this test. Or if you've just passed this test, you can expect to maybe to be offered something to go away, or have a retreat in peaceful time. That does not make sense. Having a peaceful time where you can go away to retreat somewhere is what I was supposed to say. But I'm getting that I am learning over here, that there is a lot to be learned from closing one door and opening another. Again, there can be like this thirst for knowledge here. Your higher self is learning so much more in this new environment where you're not feeling stuck, where you're not feeling stagnant. Perhaps you're making vows to yourself as well. Or you're making vows to your spirit team of what you will and will not tolerate in your life. And, your higher self, you learn so much when you finally let go and walk away and go towards the new door. Spirit is referencing it as a door. When you open that new door, you learn so much more, and it's so much more beautiful and peaceful than what you could ever imagine. I feel like perhaps you feel like it's going to be quite stressful, or it's going to be quite, I feel like there might be some kind of fear or resistance there, or there has been. But I feel like as soon as you let go, it's so much more beautiful. You're not fighting yourself anymore. You're not fighting other people. There's no more room in your energy for the constant back and forth is what I'm getting. It's just you're allowed to exist as you are. You're allowed to be who you are. You're allowed to be authentic. You're learning new things. You're opening new doors and new opportunities that you would never have had if you'd have not been able to take this door in the first place, right? And perhaps you're trying all these other doors, you're trying all these other angles, right? But no matter how many times you fill that cup, they all just keep breaking because you're not supposed to keep going back to that same person, or you're not supposed to keep going back to that same door. If you're like stuck in a karmic cycle, spirit is like offering you a way out of a new door, and it's almost like perhaps you just haven't quite seen it yet, because you can't see the way forward. And again, there's that element of wanting control here and not being able to see the way forward. So I can't say too much here, because, you know, the lesson for some of you is still being learnt, and spirit really wants you to learn this lesson for yourself. There's a reason why you can't know everything, okay, with that emperor down here. There's a reason that you can't know everything, but spirit is really trying to encourage you towards your own independence, towards your own divinity, to not accept stuff that's gonna suck the life force out of you, that is just there temporarily for lust. You know, you want things in your life that come to the long term. And for some of you, I'm hearing that this new door will lead to a beautiful marriage. The vows here, I did mention about divorce in the beginning, but it could also be leading you to a beautiful destination where, if you choose, and it is a goal or a manifestation of yours or something that you would really love in your life, you know, it is leading you towards marriage. It is leading you towards your forever person. Okay, despite all of the emotional heartbreak and burden of the past, you need to open that new door, is what Spirit's saying. But not everyone can follow you there. Not everyone can go with you through that door, because they're either not ready, or it was never meant to be, or it was just never part of the plan. It was never part of the purpose. It was never part of the soul contract. So Spirit is really congratulating you for letting go and having the faith to trust within yourself and within them and your spirit team to expect a miracle, because you deserve it. And you deserve a miracle. So have trust and have faith that your angels are heavily watching over you right now. Especially like maybe Mother Magdalene, Mary Magdalene. Is Mother Mary and Mary Magdalene the same person? I have no idea. But I'm not into religion specifically, but please correct me if I'm wrong. But there's so much more to learn over the other side of that door. It's like a whole different reality. It's like a timeline jump. So Spirit is really congratulating on you that, or pushing you towards that. So it's a short and sweet message here today, pile number 2. But I really hope that reading resonated for you. Please do consider subscribing if you would like to see more of my readings. Hit the like and drop a comment down below on what you'd like to see. I hope you have an amazing morning, evening, day, wherever you are. And thank you for joining this sacred space for me. Bye, pile 2. Hello and welcome to your reading. For those of you who picked pile number 3, the Ascending card, this is going to be your reading. So please remember to take what resonates and leave what doesn't. If something's not resonating with you, it might just not be your pile. So we're going to get straight into your reading. What is Spirit really praising you for currently? What test have you just passed from the universe, or you are about to pass? Because for some of you, when I've been doing these readings, some of you have just passed the test and you've done it already, and some of them, they're still just teetering on the edge, and Spirit was pushing them over the edge to that lesson. So for you, I feel like for a lot of you, you have already cultivated this lesson. Now, this is the lesson of self-love. And I hear the groans already. We're doing this again. But this is the only pile where this has like come out. Each pile seems to have like some kind of different lesson or different theme. But Spirit is really praising for you for passing the lesson of love. Now, I had the Undying Love card come out. The love you have shared is eternal, regardless of the situation. But off the bottom of the deck that kept trying to come out was the Mary Magdalene Unconditional Love card. So everyone else had 2, you got 3, pile 3. So you got an extra little nugget of information there. You got an extra card from Spirit today. To love yourself, others, and every situation, no matter what the outward appearances may be. I feel like you are someone, perhaps, over the last few years, who has really been cultivating self-love, self-care, really been going within and creating your own sacred space. It says, create an altar or visit a power place to connect with the divine. I feel like you've just really come into yourself over the last, I want to say 2 to 3 years, pile number 3, and you know, your manifestations are coming in now. Spirit is saying, you know, the manifestations that you've been waiting for, the things that you've been in the dark about, they're about to come in. This literally serves as a reminder. Do not forget how powerful you are. You are the High Priestess of Earth. You're coming through as the Queen of Pentacles here. So you could be an earth sign in your sun, moon, or rising, Virgo, Capricorn, or Taurus. There is something very spiritual about you, but there's also something very earthy and grounded about you. Something very divine, feminine here, very connected to the earth and grounded and very, I don't want to say, you know, like how sometimes you meet people and their energy can be quite scattered and all over the place, and they're talking about one idea, then they're talking about another idea, and it can be really draining to be around them. I feel like you're the opposite of this. I feel like you're very spiritual, but there's like a quiet, silent power to you. There's a reverence to you. There is something deeply compassionate and loving about you under the surface. People may even underestimate you at times, because you might be quite a quiet person. For some of you, I'm quite hearing. You might be quite a quiet person, but your energy is very grounded and connected to yourself now. I really do feel like you have found yourself, and Spirit is really proud of you for that, and that is the lesson that you've passed. You've come back into yourself with this self-love, and you're looking at life through the eyes and the lens of love. Perhaps, maybe you were quite jaded at one point in your life. Perhaps you were like, oh, why does this happen to me? And, why does that have to happen, and oh, this always happens to me. And perhaps there was a time where you really felt that way, where you just felt really down in the dumps and like nothing was going for you, or that you just didn't have anything to offer the world, or perhaps it got really dark at times with that moon energy. It can be an energy of feeling confused, an energy of feeling in the dark. I always see this card as not being able to see the forest for the trees, and getting really into your head about things, or just being really confused. It's a Pisces card. It rules the 12th house of illusion. And because Pisces rules the 12th house, there is an element of ambiguity, because it is the last house before connecting back to Spirit. It starts off with the first house of Aries, literally the magician here, and then it goes back to Pisces in the 12th house, where you connect back to Spirit. That's the cycle of the astrological chart wheel. So there is kind of an element here of starting out at the beginning of this cycle and kind of finishing this cycle. I am seeing that even though the cards don't traditionally represent that, we do have two major arcana here. So it has been some kind of major cycle or major learning for you. And perhaps you've been in the dark for quite a long time. The moon here, it can talk about illusion and dreams, and perhaps even a vagueness or a confused kind of energy to it. Fears or anxieties or misconceptions, or dealing with things in the subconscious, really healing subconscious wounds or beliefs about yourself, that you're not good enough, that you don't deserve love, or that you don't deserve happiness, or that you aren't this amazing Queen of Pentacles over here. And it can also talk about facing your fears, facing your subconscious fears, facing your childhood wounds here, even for some of you I'm getting, facing instabilities, facing illusions, and really connecting into your intuition. So I do really feel like you've come really back into yourself. You've come back into your intuitive side as well. Even as a Pentacles card, you see how like we just have so much energy around the crown chakra here. Really tapping back into that intuition with that moon energy. And Spirit is like, do not forget who you are and how much you have grown. Do you see how all the vine leaves crawling up the wall? Don't forget where you started and how far you've come. There's a lot of green energy in your own aura now, and pinks I'm getting specifically, and yellows. I do actually see your aura very much similar to this, but with like bits of pink in there, pastel pink in there. Really embodying the unconditional love energy. And I feel like perhaps you've embodied this internally, but it's also spilling on the outside, as in people are noticing just how much more accepting you are of things and situations, and how your perspective has changed on things, and how that's allowed manifestations to come in, or is about to allow manifestations to come in. Because the magician here, I did say, talks about manifestation and creativity, but it also talks about your own power and using everything that you have available to you. The magician wields all suits in the deck. The sword, the pentacle, the cup, and the wands, to cultivate their reality and what they want from that infinity symbol there. So for some of you as well, perhaps you have a leopard or a jaguar or a tiger or something as a spirit animal. That just a side note for some of you, but really stepping into that energy of loving yourself and speaking your truth. And you've really created and cultivated this sacred space within you. And I feel like for some of you, I am just going to say this, perhaps you were a little bit judgmental of others in the past, or judgmental of yourself. Because when we're really judgmental of ourselves and really in the dark and really beating ourselves down, and ultimately being imprisoned or a slave to our own mind and to our own thoughts and our own subconscious beliefs and upbringings. And this is things that could be carried with us for many years, or even past lifetimes with the subconscious and the 12th house here. It could be things that have carried over. I feel like by connecting to your own spirituality and your religion and what that means to you, you have unlocked a new level of freedom within your own mind, where you're no longer judgmental of yourself. So you no longer judge other people. You have this love for other people where it's like, you know what, that's their journey, that's on them. Perhaps you used to be really hard on yourself. Perhaps you used to be really hard on other people. Perhaps you used to be really hard on friends or family or something. And that's not to say that you're a bad person. I'm not trying to put you down at all, pile number 3. But again, it's that mentality of if you can't love yourself, then how can you possibly love other people? If you can't be kind to yourself, then how can you possibly be kind to other people? Perhaps, whilst you might not like to admit it, there is a little bit of an element of that, but you've stepped away from that now and you've created this sacred space, not only for you, but that others come to you as well. I feel like you hold that light for other people now, and all the other people around you are represented by these candles, and they come to you for that wisdom and that knowledge now, because they see you tapped into the divine. They see you tapped into your own divinity and learning. For some of you, you may resonate with the traditional religion, or you may resonate just with spirituality in general, and you've created your own version of it. But there's this undying love for you. The love you have shared is eternal, regardless of the situation. Yeah, there might have been a bit of, I want to say, like, jadedness in the past, like the love that you've given to other people has been wasted because they couldn't quite appreciate it. But Spirit is like, no, it's not wasted. Nothing is ever wasted. And that love will continue to live through them and will be a constant reminder to them of what they had and what they could have had, and the kindness that you showed at the time, even if they could not reciprocate it, I'm hearing. So that might be a very specific message for someone here today, very specific. But yeah, love yourself, others, in every situation, no matter what the outward appearances may be. I feel like you're a very non-judgmental person. Perhaps you wasn't always that way. But Spirit is like, you don't judge other people. You don't judge other people's journeys. I feel like you can see the reason, or the subconscious reason behind other people's journeys now. Perhaps you can really see to the root of the problem, is what I'm hearing, or the root of the trauma, or the root of that person, or the root of that person's soul, or the root of that person's lineage, or the root of the lesson, whatever they're learning. And you open and create this sacred space for them. Through your spirituality, through your religion, and through the freedom that you give them to be themselves, because you love people anyway. It's almost like you offer this unconditional love to people, and you allow them to free themselves of patterns or subconscious fears. Yeah, that's coming for a lot of you. I feel like you've really cleared some kind of karmic debt, either within your, I feel like from a past life. One of the piles that I did was very connected to healing something of a generational lineage. This feels like it's come from a past life, some kind of mentality that, or something that was imprisoning you, or you were succumbing to slavery, to that aspect of yourself. But you've freed it now through the higher chakras. You freed that through love. Through the heart chakra as well, you've managed to really heal your heart chakra. You've healed something within the heart chakra that was either in a past life or within the subconscious, and now you're in a position to manifest whatever it is that you want. You have the creative power to take action and manifest things, to really create magic in your life. This is also a great card for self-employment, or being able to smooth things over. Having the gift of the gab is what I would like to say. The magician can be a very charming, even slightly deceptive card at times, right? So you're really in a position now to manifest your desires, and you've got the willpower and the visualization to direct your will to what it is that you want to go, and you just pour love into everything that you do. So I am seeing is Spirit is saying, do not forget your power. Do not forget your divinity. Do not forget where you've come from. If you've been doubting that lately, Spirit is really proud of you, because you have literally ascended. You have unlocked a new level of being, transcending obstacles, learning, expansion, new phase, preparing for union. So for some of you, now you have poured this love into yourself. You are ready to have a union with someone else. Even if you can't quite see it right now, even if you're not sure whereabouts they are. The moon, I am seeing 2 trees here. 2 trees. So I am seeing that perhaps some of you are now going to be manifesting a romantic partner or a friendship or something divine. For a lot of you, it is a romantic connection, but you are ascending you have ascended. You've unlocked a new level of frequency and created this sacred space within yourself. And again, that holds space for other people as well. You treat other people with love and with kindness. And you're connected to the earth, connected to nature, connected to Mother Mary or Mary Magdalene. You connect people through the heart chakra, and you allow them to free themselves of imprisonment, of their own self-slavery, because they see how you've done it within yourself. And you speak love into the darkest parts of people's minds, I'm seeing, or you do something where you pour love into the darkest parts of people's minds. And with that love, it grows, even in the darkest parts. And they grow tall until it reaches the light. So yeah, Spirit is really proud of you for that. So we have 2 final cards here. These are from my Messages from Heaven tarot. And I've just seen 4444 on the thing, so that might be a message for you. So this could be from a spirit guide or a crossed over loved one. So we have, it was my time to go. And we have, I will always point you in the right direction. So your spirit guides are here, or your crossed over loved one is here, saying that they will always point you in the right direction. They want you to know that it was their time to go if it was. And this could also be talking about you. It was your time to leave that space behind and ascend. Perhaps you've had to leave things or people or certain ideologies behind, certain belief patterns, certain values, certain things that you grew up with or that have followed you from past lives even, where you've been a slave to your own mind. For some of you, it could even be like, for some of you, I'm hearing like you're very tapped in spiritually as well. So, you know, if you were once incarnated as a witch and you went through the Salem trials, you might be really subconsciously afraid of having that imprisonment, that slavery, that same, you know, history repeating itself. So you've built that sacred space now where you're allowed to show love and who you truly are, which is the embodiment of love and light. Through yourself, like you're allowed to do that now. It's almost like creating this new safe space for yourself. And it was time. Spirit was like, well, it was time. It was really time to step into yourself. It was time to go. It was time to leave that old reality behind. It was time to leave those old people behind, or those old I'm getting a lot of you, it's an ideology or some kind of mentality or something in the subconscious, whether it's from childhood or a past life. But Spirit wants to encourage you that you're all going in the right direction. And as long as you do everything out of love, with love, for love, always embodying love. Now, that doesn't mean you can't have boundaries. And, you know, doesn't mean you let people walk all over you. But as long as you are the embodiment of love and you do things with love and from a genuine, authentic heart space, you will always be in the right direction, even if you can't see the forest for the trees. And did you hear that beep? Extra confirmation there. So I feel like that's a great point to end your reading. This is a short and sweet reading here for you today. So I hope that you enjoyed that. Please consider subscribing if you'd like to see more of my readings. Please hit the like, drop a comment down below what you'd like. Tell me what you'd like to see on your next. Well, tell me what you'd like to see next. And I hope to see you at the next one. Bye, Pile 3.